Thank you, everyone, for this prestigious honor. You honor me to join 5 former Popham partners who were likewise honored before me. In 1985, in the first class, Tom Conway. Shortly thereafter, Tom Sweeney. Then Hollis Hanover. And then in 2015, my best buddy Dirk Vandiver and John Kurtz. We've been asked to tell some lessons and high points of our careers, and that for me is 49 years. And you've got 7 minutes to do it. I feel a little bit like Zsa Zsa Gabor's sixth husband. He was said to have said on his wedding night, "I know what I'm supposed to do, I'm just not sure I can make it interesting." But here we go. Let's go to 1985. That summer I call it luck of the Irish, and my passion for the sport of handball converged. At that time I was at a career crossroads. I had had the Christine Kraft verdicts. We had probably gone up on appeal. Maybe by that time the 8th Circuit already had thrown out the case and we were considering other options. But it presented a new career niche for me, plaintiff's employment law. Problem was I was at a corporate law firm, a good law firm, but they were used to doing hourly work. They weren't quite sure what they would do with my newfound specialty. And I remember the managing partner coming to me and saying, "Dennis, we're going to," I think he had a pipe, "we're going to establish a contingency fee committee." Huh? Am I going to be on it? It wasn't very clear, so I started looking at other options. Just so happened I played handball on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays with a man named Tom Sweeney. Tom at that time was in his prime, probably late 50s. He was a plaintiff's lawyer who controlled all of the asbestos cases in the Midwest. I mentioned to him my dilemma. He said, "Dennis, why don't you come down to our firm? We've got plaintiff's contingency business. We love it. You can control your own destiny. I'm going to send someone around." So he sent his son-in-law, John Turner, who lived right around the corner from me. I remember John pulling up with his 3-year-old in his lap, started a conversation with John, then firm leader Hollis Hanover, patriarch Tom Conway, my future best buddy Dirk Vandiver, and the rest is history. What early lessons did I learn going from hourly rate to contingent fee work? Well, how about this one? Ever heard of this? The early bird catches the worm. That's right. I copied the work habits of Hollis Hanover and John Turner and John Kurtz and Dirk Vandiver, who got in every morning at 6:30 a.m. That was the daytime. That was the quiet time. And at that time we had phones that would start ringing about 8:30, so you wanted to get to your work when you needed to do it. I tell folks you need to daydream. And that means work your case. Think about your case. And don't just think it, ink it. Write down your thoughts. In the quiet time, inspirations come. Inspiritus is where the word inspiration is. That's where it comes from. So in the quiet, you'll hear the voices coming to you of inspiration. Be passionate, we're told. Yes, passion means the positive thing of having good emotion for what you do, but also that part of passion that means enduring something, being ready to trade off what you have to in order to be just a little bit better. I learned trial work as a team sport. At Popham, we co-counseled each other's cases. We always said yes, how can I help when asked. Judge Justine Del Muro, an associate of ours for several years, tells how she came to work at the Popham Law Firm, and within a couple of days I'm in her office. "I hear you're wanting to try cases." "Yes, I am." "Well, here's a file. We start Monday." We had 15 witnesses, and Justine tells it that I think she put on 9 of them. John Kurtz, who everybody knows, he was once managing partner. He talked about his daydream. Popham Law Firm is a trial firm, so hopefully someday there will be calls coming into the secretary, and they go, "Where's Mr. Kurtz?" "He's in trial." "What about Mr. Egan?" "He's in trial with Bert Braun." "Mr. Vandiver?" "He's in trial." John would say, then the receptionist would say, "Everybody's in trial," and he'd get a big grin on his face. You've got to also have fun. I remember a case that I tried a few years ago against Jeff City School District, and the guy on the other side went to Jeff City, so every time we put on a teacher administrator, he'd want to stand up and say, "Hey, Coach, I remember when I was in your class and you taught me this and taught me that." You know, after a while I thought he was just like a pesky puppy. So I couldn't help it when he did it about 3 or 4 times with a very experienced administrator on the stand. I said, "You know, I'm just wondering, was Chris R. as much of a suck-up at high school as he is when he questions you? And of course, we got a good snicker from the jury in the gallery, and no one objected. It was a moment, and she looked and she said, well, I'm under oath, so I've got to say, yeah, he was. My passion is and always has been mentoring and teaching lawyers about trial practice. Burt Broad, he co-counseled many cases with me, and Scott Max the same way. The way time flies is shown by the fact that these two gentlemen are stepping back from the practice of law today, but they were there when I was helping to mentor them along the way. I have, in recent years, mentored trial lawyers in the local employment lawyers chapter in Kansas City. I'm very proud of what that's wrought. At Popham, over the years, retirements and deaths have changed our roster. But for 40 years, there was a core band of brothers, 4 guys, Dirk Vandiver, Scott Mack, Dennis Egan, Burt Broad, that worked together as a team, as a family, with never a cross word spoken among us. To me, we were our own fantastic 4. Now, Dirk and I are still at it, 100%. We remain students and teachers of the trial art. We talk to each other about all the time. We read the latest books. His mom taught him, be curious, and I think that's a great thing to remember. We remain students and teachers to other lawyers and to Popham's current generation, that we pass along the tenets that you've learned, pass it forward. Our new Fantastic 4, Mark Schlegel, Tommy Porto, Cooper Mack, Scott's son, and our newest member, Paul Anderson. I'm going to use my final minute to echo something that Scott Gillenberg said in the most recent issue of the Counselor. He wrote an article calling it Defending the Rule of Law. And it got me to thinking, you know what? I'm going to be assembled with judges and lawyers, and we embody the rule of law. Our uniform oath before we get our license makes this a 100% nonpartisan issue. We stand for facts. We stand for due process always. We stand for 3 equal co-branches of government. We stand for the First Amendment right to speak and gather and dissent. We stand for our judiciary and its rightful power. And while I'm thinking about it, bring Mr. Garcia home as the court has ordered you to do. Most of all, I want you to not be the D words, disillusioned or disheartened. Those aren't in my nature to abide by those words, and I think the words that you say to yourselves are important. I am more in favor of some F words, and not the ones that you might be thinking of. Be fired up. Be furious. Be fighting mad. A lawyer friend wrote me a nice card in relation to this award. He said, Dennis, you stand alone in your passion and commitment to justice. Well, I'm really grateful for the compliment, but I'm pretty sure I don't stand alone. And just to prove it, would you please stand and raise whatever glass you have handy and repeat after me. You see me standing, don't you? Okay. Repeat after me loudly and proudly. We are the rule of law. We protect the rule of law. No kings, no dictators, democracy today, democracy tomorrow, democracy for as long as we live. Thank you, folks, for standing with me in support of the rule of law.